Okay, so for the past couple of years, I've been talking to this person named on her YouTube name is Dazzling K22. Now, recently she blocked me on Twitter, but I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. I barely want to be associated with people anyway. The thing is, her and her circle of friends, her YouTube community, constantly chastise me for my stupid writing decisions. Well, not for my stupid writing decisions, so much for it's mostly just due to the fact that characters I choose to write stories about. See, I'm not like most people. Uh, what intrigues me to write a story about a character is a compelling gimmick, or character concept that can allow new stories to potentially happen. That's what compels me to write a character, rather than that character being superficially cool or badass. I just don't care about that. This means that oftentimes I'll write stories about characters who would know no one will ever choose to write a story about because most then they're seen as not uninteresting due to their physical appearance or just their or just the stories they go their stories they participate in. So, for example, I have this character called Goofanoid. It's a clown. This character is called Goofanoid. He's a clown, and he has prank gadgets. He has joke toys. It's very similar to a character like the Trickster, the Flash villain, or a prankster, or any number of villains from DC Comics who have joke toys as their main gimmick. But he's a good guy, and he fights against a bunch of psychopaths in Orlando, Florida. These psychopaths include characters like Professor Payne, a guy who develops torture devices and kidnaps children so that he can torture them as part of a brainwash program to turn children into psychopaths. There's also an undead organ thief who steals people organs and sells them, and it's a back alley doctor and does horrific science experiments on people. Well, not just standard science experiments, but medical experiments exclusively. Um, there's also a scarecrow possessed by the ghost of a dead serial killer, and it goes around stabbing people. There's also a guy who steals cars and takes them apart in order to build weaponized cars out of car parts he just stole. Weaponized vehicles in general, and a whole bunch of other characters, similar characters. Just uh, the villain. If you're not noticing a pattern, most of the villains are based off stuff in horror movies. Now, I want to have a character who's a goody two shoes clown who doesn't kill anybody, like a clown who doesn't kill anybody at all. He's a super ultra good guy who fights these somewhat horror themed villains using joke toys, like the ones used by Trickster and Prankster and all them old DC villains that no one cares about anymore. Well, except me, obviously. But no one else wants that. One of those people, Ruby King, tried to rewrite Goofanoid into being exactly like the mask, completely ignoring the fact that stated multiple times in multiple different live streams that he does not kill. So, so there's nothing to write about. Once I turn him into the mask, there really are no stories I can tell. And also, you got rid of no kill code, so because of that, he's exactly like the villains he's fighting. So there really is no thematic opposition there. And another one of my characters, Tiger Man, is a 12-year-old child, a 12-year-old boy who makes a deal with a fairy godmother to become more courageous, but that deal winds up turning him into a were tiger, and and then he is cursed with theanthropy. That's the proper term, not lycanthropy. It's lycan means wolf, but he's not a wolf. He's a were tiger, and he then and then he goes around because this boy has an abusive background as abusive parents. He goes around unleashing his and his inner violent, his inner rage out on criminals by torturing and killing them. So it's basically Ghost Rider, but it's a little kid instead of an adult, which is an interesting dynamic that potentially allows for new stories that can never be done before. Of course, everyone says this is a bad idea because it's a child killing people, and children are supposed to be innocent, even though children that age are expected to be reading porn. I mean, most parents don't monitor their children at all past a certain point. So so like for example, manga. All anime exported to the West is shonen. Shonen is aimed at 10 to 16-year-old boys. Now, the thing about shonen is that they're all set in high school and are extremely highly sexual in nature. And we might say, but shonen is all aimed at high schoolers. Well, what else? What else do you expecting kids to be reading? Keep in mind, the vast majority of Kodomo anime is aimed at kindergartners. Like Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is aimed at 6-year-olds. Would you expect an 11-year-old child in America to still be watching Clifford the Big Red Dog? I was, because my parents didn't have cable till I was 12. But for most people, they will say no. But what is aimed at? First of all, I don't even know what's aimed at 12-year-olds in Japan. I don't even know what's aimed at 11-year-olds in Japan. All anime, all shonen anime that's exported to America is set in high school and is extremely highly sexual in nature. Like, look at Dan Dan. Your 10-year-old right now, if you're a parent, is probably reading a comic book where the first issue is literally an intended gang rape of the main character by aliens. That is a children's manga. And that's how anime just is. And keep in mind, the kids nowadays are all reading manga. So yeah. They don't really aim manga aimed at 10-year-olds. Well, 11-year-olds. Like every single Kodomo I've seen is just like Hello Kitty. It's aimed at 6-year-olds. Going back to my rant here. I don't know what's even aimed at 12-year-old to begin with. Because normally when you make a character a child, that means it's a children's story. But in this case, I'm not even aiming at children. It's aimed at adults. But adults, apparently, according to all these people, like uh, according to all these people who criticize Tiger Man heavily, um, uh, children are supposed to be innocent, and no adult wants to read a story about a child going through any of this stuff. So age them up to high school, which completely destroys the story since you can't really tell a story in high school that isn't about sex. Anime proves that. Anime and teen dramas all prove you can't really tell a story in high school that isn't about the main character having sex. But I don't want to write about the main character having sex. Not to mention, because I don't actually want to write about a teenager going through any of this, I'm still going to write him as if he's a preteen. Because I just don't want to write about a teenager going through any of this because it's been done before and it's not interesting. Now, I do mean it's not interesting because I've seen Devilman Crybaby and that was absolutely awful. And that was not because the main character was killing people; it was because just everybody in that show was a bad person. But it's supposed to be a serious show, a serious drama. Like it's not supposed to be a comedy or anything like that. Like what's that show? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's not like that. You're actually supposed to take Devilman seriously. Now people want to criticize the hell out. Now once I make Tiger Man, I just gotta realize people want to criticize the hell out of it just to offer extreme graphic violence. Um, because no one actually wants to read a story about a child killing people, even though people have read stories about. There have been comics about children killing people, which just that nobody's ever heard of them. I mean, there's Street Angel, which is a comic book about a little girl killing people. So now, and when people say I refuse to change my stories, I change stories all the damn time. I literally changed the plot. I've literally changed the plot of Gryffindor multiple times. Originally, he was supposed to be fighting a Ku Klux Klan knockoff, but I scrapped that entire storyline. Now it's the chocolate company that owns the music park he used to work at, and Professor Payne is that actually works for the chocolate company. Now, now no one probably here probably believe nobody here probably believes that's what I just stated as the story of Gryffindor, but that's what the current story is. Sorry, I got to pause every few seconds. Now, me constantly having to change my stories to be more marketable makes me not like storytelling. Like it literally makes pisses me off and makes me write more and more stories out of spite because there's nothing I actually want to write about. Like for example, another one of my characters that's extremely negatively received, not as extreme as Goofy or Tiger Man, is Distortion. Distortion is about a chick named a woman named Natalie Wormwood, who's a blind woman, he was born blind to a rich CEO dad, to a rich CEO dad who was a CEO of a tech company, who develops cybernetic eye implants that allow his daughter to finally be able to see as a grown woman. And she also has this suit that allows her to turn invisible, also built by his father's company. And she used that suit. Uh, and after falls assassinated, she now has to use that invisibility suit she has to outsmart and trick bad guys into foiling their own plans, or to sabotage villains' plans using that invisibility suit. People say that won't work. That won't work because we're not seeing a superhero actually fight her villains, but just Rad just using invisibility to trick them. But she's not actually fighting supervillains. She's fighting normal people a lot of times with gimmicks. It seems like normal people with gimmicks as a villain is just kind of dead as a concept. It's like you can't even accept the concept of a regular dude with no powers that just has a crazy gimmick as a villain anymore. Everything has to be a world-ending event about finding aliens from outer space. And one thing that's made me hate storytelling is anime, because all anime is aimed at teenagers, which means the story can't really be anything more than just bouncing tits and fighting between characters that we don't care about. I mean, that's what the vast majority of anime is. That's what Fire Force is. Fire Force can't even focus on this concept of the fact that people horrifically turn into demons, the fire demons, randomly, and that person's life is now lost, and the main characters have to kill these people. We just gotta ignore that and just focus on bouncing tits. Now I have not seen Fire Force, but I just know that's what the show chooses to focus on, rather than the actual premise of the story itself. Because it's shown and we can't go in depth. And that's not what the audience wants. But I hate what the audience wants. I legit hate what the audience wants. I am tired of fan service. I hate sexy women. And no, I'm not gay. Unless I'm about to go to bed with a woman, I don't care how she looks. All right? I just hate fan service. Well, stop watching stories aimed at teenagers then. That's all anime. I have not seen a children's anime since I believe Pokemon. Pokemon's aimed at the same target audience as Arthur. It's just 6, 7, 8 year old children, very young children. It's kind of hard for anyone older than 9 years old to even watch something like that. Hell, I highly doubt Arthur's even in 8 year olds. Is it? I don't know. I can't really tell. I mean, I have no story to tell about Wonder Woman, so why would I create a Wonder Woman knockoff? See, the reason why Dazzling Kate blocked me on Twitter is that she told me to restart my universe from the ground up because I have too many sexual villains in my comics or something. I don't know. She's not very good at explaining it. Well, he's telling me to start my universe over, and he's telling me all caps. No, I'm gonna tell her no. This is not your characters. This is not Batman. This is not Superman. This is not Wonder Woman. This is not Spider Man. I have no interest in writing about these characters. I want to write stories about new characters, with stories that have never been told before, stories that are compelling beyond just a stupid fight scene. I don't care about writing a story about Wonder Woman. I have no interest in writing a story about Wonder Woman. As a matter of fact, with Wonder Woman, when Wonder Woman goes public domain, I'm not even going to try to write about a story about Wonder Woman because she's not really an interesting character. She changes every 5 years, even before the New 52 reboot. Like throughout most of Silver Age, she changes every 5 years. Right, having to constantly change the plot of my character stories, which I've done multiple times, and yet people still don't like it because the very conception of the character is bad. At least that's what I get told thousand times over. But I'm actually passionate about writing these damn characters and get people like Wolfton Media who comes into my DMs telling me to give up and get a real job, even though I've tried that for the past 2 fucking years. Anime aims at teenagers doesn't actually make me want to write stories anymore. It makes me want to kill teenagers. So I'm gonna write the teenagers into my stories just to have them get their tits chopped off and have their faces cut off. There's nothing to write about when you're in high school aside from sex. So once you get a character that age, there's really nothing to write about. Once but all mainstream entertainment has to be aimed exclusively at teenagers. So I don't even really care. I don't really care anymore. Care. Yeah, I don't really care. I just exclude teenagers from target audience of my stories. I could just make them all aimed at adults. Like Tiger Man, Tiger Man just wanted to be aimed at adults. I don't even really want to. I don't even really care about it about anyone younger than 18 years old reading it. But no one wants to see. But children are supposed to be in it. Why does it matter? You letting your children read softcore porn comics on Shonen Jump website, on Shonen Jump app. That's if you're a parent watching this live stream, that's what your children are reading. They're reading softcore porn comics like what's that one, To Love Rule, Reincarnation Coliseum. No, that's not Shonen Jump. That was in Dragon Age or something. It doesn't matter. You're reading. They're reading sexually charged stories about teenagers on the Shonen Jump app. That's what your 10-year olds reading. So 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 it, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to write stories that have mainstream appeal. The mainstream is stupid. The mainstream appeal, they ain't gonna do nothing. Look at modern day video games. They've been chasing the mainstream appeal for how many years now? All they can do is just make hyper detailed textures. That's all they can do. I don't want to do that. Well, all I can do is just have the artist draw pretty fight scenes, and that just adds more credit to the artist than me as a storyteller. And then what? I don't like right making having to constantly change the plot, and then no one likes it because people just want me to change the character. Makes me not want to write at all. But I'm gonna write it anyway, and then write it anyway, since I don't really care what these people think anymore. Like Dazzling Kate, Trey McKell, Ruby King, all these people, they don't actually want new stories. They want the same old stories they've always been getting, just redone. The only way I could probably impress these people is to make a story about Superman. I mean, I have goody two shoes heroes in my universe. Obviously, Gryffindor is one of them, but they don't want Gryffindor to be a goody two shoes. They want him to be just like the mask. I I legit hate mainstream storytelling. It's super boring. It's so inflexible that you can't even create new character concepts. You have to just recycle old ones. Yeah. Gryffindor is not Joker. I have no interest in writing about the Joker. No, he's morally upstanding. Well, if somewhat loony clown guy. That's what I want to write about. It's a morally upstanding, if somewhat loony clown guy. I mean, he's more like Ace Ventura than the Mask is. Even yeah, even then, he doesn't really have superpowers. He's fighting regular people who are really awful. Makes yeah. I hate anime. So because of that, I have teenage girls, big tits, get their tits chopped off in Tiger Man, and have their woman get the uteruses torn out, and have their eyes get gouged out, and have their skin get torn off in various places. That's what I do in Tiger Man because I hate sexy women now. At least in regards to story time. Yeah, I hate sexy women now. So I just want to see them get killed. Tiger Man's place to do it since Tiger Man is my anti-hero character. He's my universe equivalent to Ghost Rider, but done a slightly different way. He's a child cursed from becoming the were tiger. That is the concept of Tiger Man, and he has to fight fairies and a whole bunch of other magical creatures. It's literally my equivalent to Ghost Rider, but he's a child. Okay, but that somehow makes it bad, even though it allows more storytelling opportunities than if he were just an adult. Just as a child, he has to struggle with things uh keeping a roof over his head. He has to stay at somebody else's house. He has to struggle with things like not get yeah he has to struggle with a lot of things that Ghost Riders doesn't have to struggle with because none of Ghost Riders have ever been a child. Has ever been children. Has ever been children. I'm sorry. Gotta fix my grammar. But you tell me 1,000 times this is a bad concept. I don't care how many times you tell me it's a bad concept. This is what I want to write about because it can allow new stories to exist. I'm trying to tell new stories, not retread old ones. Now I'm taking the Ghost Rider concept and then making it my own. No one cares for mainstream comic writing something like that. Every single character is now a big major character that's changed all the time. Hell, look at James Gunn. Literally every single character he's changed dramatically from source material. Either to simplify it or just to make it his own. But I'm doing making wholly original characters, not using the names of established older characters. I'm not taking the Joker and making him the good guys. This is not the Joker at all. It's not even really close to the Joker. I mean, my Gryffindor, not only does he have a strict code against killing, he doesn't even have the nihilistic outlook that Joker has. He's a very he's a very optimistic person. He's kind of like the opposite of Joker. He's more. He has his mindset. His view on life is more similar to Wander, the alien from Wander over yonder, than is something like anything like Joker. He would be trying. He would probably be trying to refrain a lot of his villains. If but I legit want to write about these characters. I'm actually passionate about writing about these characters. No one else is. And everyone tells me to essentially make new characters, and then I'll scrap those characters, even though I'm the most passionate about writing them because they're not marketable. But I don't give a goddamn what's marketable. Most of the stories I like aren't marketable. This is why you probably never heard of most of them until I just bring them up. I don't care sex. I don't care if sex sells. I'm gonna have sexy women on the cover and then have them get skinned alive in the comic just to spite those fucking people who can't read a story unless the characters look attractive. I've literally made it so that most of the female characters in my story are physically unattractive. So they have nothing else to focus on except for their character. They're choosing to make the comic about the alien chick, well, not even alien chick, an alien creature. I chose to make the creature female, so that's one of my main female heroines in the universe because I guess it's more interesting because that makes her twice removed from humanity. So it's not only is she an alien, but also a female, even though she can't. She lacks anything. She lacks anything that connects to a human woman. So she's completely removed from humanity in that regards. It's almost like kind of like Martian Manhunter. She's removed twice from humanity. It's an alien. It's an alien creature who, unlike Martian Manhunter, is not a shapeshifter. So she can't transform to a human. And at the same time, she's also female. Thus make her completely unrelatable to most humanity because she lacks what human woman was supposed to have, which is beauty, by being a salamander praying mantis hybrid creature thing. She lacks beauty. She lacks. Yeah, she lacks humanity physically. So we were forced to read a comic about this alien creature trying to learn how to blend in with human society or serve a purpose to human society by being a superhero. Uh, Jazz one common with something like or Hellboy than something like any other common character I can name, except she's an alien instead of a demon. Except except that usually works for a male character, but that doesn't work with a female character. They're not doing a good job of explaining it, but that's what it is. It's similar archetype as many of Michael Nolan's characters. There's not just Hellboy. We also got Ape Sapien and Roger the Homunculus and all them characters. She has to learn. She has to learn to be good in humanity as an alien raised on Earth. I actually want that. That's actually what I want to tell a story about. Now, most people not gonna be interested in because she doesn't have breasts at all because she's a creature from outer space who's not a mammal and doesn't give live birth. She actually lays eggs. But no one wants anything beyond the norm. Want they just want they just want a redone version of Batman or a redone version of Spider Man. So Spider Man comics is going down here as of late. But I don't not want to write another version of Spider Man. I don't want to write another version of most of these characters. I'm trying to be the best me. I'm trying to let the characters be the best versions of the characters I want to write about. I'm not trying to write about characters that already exist. I have no interest in writing about Superman as Superman. I do have an interest in writing about the idea of a knight in shining armor, who is the most upstanding superhero of them all. But I'm not interested in writing about Superman. I know this stream just me being angry, but I don't care. I have to listen. I'm tired of this balling this anger up. I hate shonen. I hate stories aimed at teenagers because the writers of these shows all agree that teenagers are too stupid to actually handle complex storylines. So they give them nothing but hedonism because Japan's a pagan hedonistic society. Anime can't even be funny. It's not even just a translation problem. Anime can't really tell jokes. Shonen, at least not shonen anime. All they can do is have a nip slip or a wardrobe malfunction or something along those lines. They can't actually really tell a joke with proper setup of punchline. They just can't do that. I hate good storytelling. If shonen anime if shonen anime is good storytelling, then I hate good storytelling. Plain and simple. Now we end the stream.